Welcome to another matchup on my channel. Today's topic will be on whether Boros can conquer the Viltrumites or he gets jumped by them. Tyleanred already made a video on this topic, so be sure to check his video out. I made this video to give my own opinion and do some justice for Boros as Tyleanred butchered his fucking scaling really badly. If you go and look at his comments, most of the people are against his take. He butchered Boros' scaling that much. Anyway, let's begin the video. We're going straight to the main scaling, starting with Omni-Man, who in the start of the series does two main feats, like destroying the surface of the Flaxen's planet, and claims to have stopped a meteor the size of Texas. The Flaxen planet feat being in the multi-continental and stopping a Texas-sized meteor is moon level, if we take that statement at face value. He also scales above the laser which destroyed the solar disk, which is another multi-continental feat. Now before anyone brings the death battle calculation, I just want to point out that they didn't actually prove why the size of the solar disk will be as big as the sun, as even a moon-sized disk can do the exact same thing. So to not make any biased conclusion, this calculation which I am presenting will take the disk size as same as the planet rather than the star. Continuing, he will also scale above Omnipotence, who can warp worlds and also is stated to have destroyed a whole star system. But that is done by a chain reaction which really doesn't scale to his AP, but there are statements that gets him to planet level, which I am presenting right now. Omni-Man will also scale above the being who consumed planets, which take it as however you want. For me, this is just another planet level scaling. Omni-Man was part of the group that went through the planet Viltrum, which itself is actually way bigger, as we know the bullet from Space Razor's gun can destroy a star. This will mean the planet Viltrum must be twice as big and dense than a star to not get destroyed, and planet Viltrum's destruction required Space Razor's gun to unstable the core of the planet, and 3 different Viltrumites going through the planet, which is calculated to be around large planetary. Now all of this was just Omni-Man. There is Conquest, who should be as strong if not stronger than Omni-Man. Then there is the end of series Mark and Thrag, who are vastly stronger than everyone mentioned. As for speed, I'll be straightforward as well. They travel from Mach 10 to 20 on Earth, as they are stated to, damage the planet itself with their accelerated speeds. Now, by acceleration, I'm talking about their galaxy multi-galactic level traveling shit, which isn't actually their raw speed. It is specifically stated that they use their smart atoms to do something, which is a kind of a subspace teleportation type traveling, which doesn't really account for raw speed. But in the show, Mark has been seen dodging lightning, which gets him to massively hypersonic. And this is consistent as Mark once flew to Mars in 4 days, which is without his acceleration speed, and is averaged at 800,000 kilometers per hour, which fits in the massively faster than lightning speed range. This is where their scaling ends, and in conclusion, the Viltrumites are multi-continental to the large planetary to even possibly dwarf star level with massively faster than lightning speed. Now, since Viltrumite scaling is over, let's move on to Boros, and let's see how well he does against the Viltrumites. Boros scales to casual Saitama if not above him, who scales above everyone in the S-Class and Monster Association, the strongest in Monster Association being Psycho Rochi and Gargoyle Garo. I know Garo isn't part of Monster Association, but let's just say he is. And in the S-Class, it's Metal Bat, Tatsumaki and 10 Seconds Genos, and maybe Bang. But these are not relevant characters, since the characters that are important are Tatsumaki, Psychorochi, and Gargoyle Garo. Starting with Psychorochi, she is far stronger than Orochi, as she is a fusion between Orochi and Psychos, with some of God's power. Her most powerful attack, a beam which she fires, was easily deflected by a heavily fatigued Tatsumaki. which is able to cut through the earth and slice off a chunk of it which is calculated to be large planetary. And Gargoyle Garo is stronger than Psychorochi, as the same Tatsumaki who fought Psychorochi also fights casual Saitama, and her fight pales in comparison to Garo's. Yet a much suppressed casual Saitama one-shots Garo, and when I say much suppressed, I'm using the context that Garo's actions were over and over saving other people, and Saitama literally had no intention of hurting Garo, while against Boros he actually has intention to kill him, as Boros is literally a fucking tyrant, and he literally told Saitama that he has conquered planets. Not just that, he wiped out a fucking city. So yes, Saitama is much more suppressed against Garo than he is against Boros. And based on how Saitama fights these two, it's pretty safe to say that released Boros alone is leagues above Gargoyle Garo. Meaning released Boros alone unironically would be large planetary to even dwarf star level, since again he's much stronger than Gargoyle Garo. And I haven't even started talking about meteoric burst form, which is a fucking Super Saiyan, not in a literal sense, as the guidebook literally states that his collapsing star roaring cannon can obliterate a star. Please note that I'm saying his collapsing star roaring cannon, not Boros, his collapsing star roaring cannon, which means all of his power into a singular point. Now to address one of the most dumbest arguments I have seen people use. They use the mistranslation bullshit, which is completely false, as how Boros is consistently being scaled to this level. And on top of that, in the exact same skin, he's already been called a planet buster. Even if you wanna argue that that is talking about Boros in general, then you're also conceding to the fact that the collapsing star roaring cannon is also being addressed in general as well. And by definition, his collapsing star roaring cannon will be star level. Heck, to back star level scaling even more, it's backed up by the fact that Sirius Saitama is treated by the Shonen Jump to be threat to the entire solar system. And again, Saitama literally used his Sirius punch against Boros' collapsing star roaring cannon, which is blatantly called a trump card, his strongest move. And he had to resort to it to redirect Boros' collapsing star roaring cannon. And before anyone makes a dumb argument, the Shonen Jump statement is referring to the Saitama of the start of the Garo fight, which again doesn't have his exponential growth rate yet. He hasn't hit that yet. He hits that way after, in the middle of the fight. And the Shonen Jump that's referring to Saitama is in the start of the fight. Unfortunately, this is where Boros scaling ends, so I'll move over to his speed. For speed, Boros in released form alone is keeping up with Saitama, who is vastly faster than Gargoyle Garo, who is faster than Flashy Flash, who can reach speed of light. And in meteoric burst form, he outright surprised Saitama with his speed, which easily puts Boros in the faster than light range. In conclusion, Boros is dwarf star to star level with faster than light speed. So who will win between the Viltrumites and Boros? Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory that Boros is absolutely manhandling all of them. This fight is not even fucking close. Yeah, so this part of the video will be debunking every argument that Tyleanred made in his video. Like, not every argument, but the dumbest one which he used.
With me today, I have none other than Jaded.
What's up, guys? It's Jaded.
And he's here to help me break down invincible scaling while I'm here to slander Boros. Now, let's waste no time and dive into Boros' scaling because I've been itching to tell you guys how trash this man really is. Okay, he's not trash, but he's definitely not as strong as a lot of you make him out to be. Now, Boros' best scaling comes from an anime guide statement that suggests his star cannon can in fact destroy a star. However, we see in not only the anime but also the original material, aka the manga, along with other guidebooks,
Yeah, this just already proves that he didn't do any research. that is literally from the same scan where the star level statement comes from.
For both the anime and manga that confirm that Boros with his star cannon is at best destroying the planet.
Yeah, so the first scan that he shows is from the anime, which is literally taken out of context. Boros just tells Saitama that he's going to destroy him and the planet. This doesn't really mean that he's just caps there. He's just taking that shit out of context. As for the manga statement, that is a fucking mistranslation. If you actually translate that statement from the raw manga, you'll realize that the surface of the planet bullshit is never even mentioned there. All Boros said that he's going to wipe Saitama out of the face of the planet. That's it, nothing else. Literally. As for the third scan, I already addressed that.
This, even to me, is shaky because the manga even suggests that Boros is not even destroying the planet, but rather threatening it as he's destroying the planet's surface and not the planet itself. And we also have calculations of Saitama's Serious Punch, which not only obliterated Boros' strongest move, but even split the clouds, which had about over 56 petatons of force, which comes out to around multi-continental.
The fucking problem with this calculation is that we already have a fucking Serious Punch squared. And if we just, unsquare that fucking punch, his Serious Punch comes out around large star to solar system level, which is exactly what the Shonen Jump statement is saying, that Serious Saitama is a threat to the entire solar system. And it's pretty consistent that Boros's collapsing star were encountering the star level, as Saitama had to resort to his fucking Serious Punch in order to fucking redirect it. So this calculation is straight up bullshit, and you fucking know it.
I think Boros in the manga at best would downscale from this massively, considering he literally died from this attack. But if you wanted to push the anime's planetary interpretation,
That's not even interpretation, but rather a lowball scaling. It's literally a baseline scaling for Boros to be planetary. Now, one of the scans he showed in Slide Up where the collapsing star roaring cannon is called a planet buster. But if you actually pay attention and read the description, it's just showing Boros' desperation to beat Saitama. Like literally the last scene before the Serious Punch happens. This is just explaining how Boros in desperate situation used his final attack, nothing else. And no, this doesn't, fucking downgrade his collapsing star roaring cannon from star level to planetary.
then sure, he's a planet buster with its strongest attack. However, the main problem with Boros is that his best scaling comes from his strongest move and in a form that he can only use for 1 minute.
Literally nowhere it stated that some meteoric bursts can only last for a minute. Yes, there is a statement where Boros claims that it shortens his lives. But no, it doesn't last for fucking minute. He can use it as much as he wants. The only downside for it is that it shortens his life. That's it, nothing else.
For overloading his body completely. Both armored and base Boros have no scaling whatsoever.
I mean, I already scale released Boros to large planetary and give fucking evidence for that. So yeah.
Only thing I can really see is that he was probably more of a challenge than Carnage Kabuto and I guess the meteor from season 1, which was going to wipe out a city. But in One Punch Man, the cities are ridiculous in size, with some of them even being the size of countries.
Here is another fact. The Earth in One Punch Man is actually bigger than ours. That shit is fucking twice as big as ours.
However, these two forms are not relevant to the discussion at all when facing the Invincible verse, as you guys will see later on.
よろしいですね。
A lot of people are probably going to bring up this statement shown in the online version of the manga, which, yeah, this doesn't exist in the physical manga.
This really doesn't debunk the statement itself. It's still on the official raw manga. So it really doesn't debunk anything.
So, really, Saitama took no damage when fighting Boros, and this was even confirmed by the end of the fight.
Being hurt and being damaged are two completely different things. I don't know why people confuse being damaged is basically getting hurt. Those are completely two different things.
I've also seen the interpretation of the statement of saying, oh, he took damage, actually being Boros just him talking to himself, because throughout the fight he thinks he's finally pushing Saitama when in reality he didn't phase him, which isn't a bad interpretation, but I mean, who really cares, because once again, this page doesn't exist. And also that one statement of Saitama getting clobbered doesn't make sense either, considering Boros at the end of the fight as well says he didn't phase him.
If anything, that statement just fucking further supports Saitama getting damaged. I don't know what the fuck are you talking about. And as for Boros not phasing Saitama, like, Saitama himself says that the fight with Boros is almost a real fight. Boros is talking about his Saitama's real strength, which is fucking serious strength, and in the end he uses. Like in the start of the fight, up until that point, Boros is pretty confident in beating Saitama, but the moment Saitama uses his actual strength, that's where reality hits to Boros. So yes, Boros didn't phase him when it came to his real strength, but he still scales to his casual self, Saitama's casual self.
Which is why I don't think Boros is nearly as strong as people think he is. All of his quote-unquote feats on Saitama aren't really even feats because Saitama is holding back.
Holding back doesn't really mean shit. As I have previously explained, that context fucking matters. Like, the problem with Garo and Boros being relative is a completely bullshit, as Saitama is much more suppressed against Garo than he is against Boros. I'll argue that Boros in release state is actually relative to fucking initial version of Cosmic Garo. I'll argue on that if you want me to. This literally doesn't debunk anything, by the way.
Which then leads us into speed, which is also kind of hard to break down for Boros, considering Saitama doesn't showcase any crazy speed feats by this point in the series. So we can't use the scaling of Garo and Flashy Flash and Platinum S making light constructs or anything like that, because again, Saitama is ridiculously suppressed in this fight.
But you can use those feats, as Saitama is much more suppressed against Gargoyle Garo, who is more faster than his monster phase, who is equal if not faster than Flashy Flash, who is literally studied to reach speed of lights. And the construct itself is actually a speed of light feat. So yeah, you can actually use those feats. Now, unless you're using that dumbass everyday getting stronger argument, which I can easily fucking debunk, because that shit is coming from Genes, who is unreliable, and the Saitama that one shot himself was actually just a simulation which was recorded, nothing else. So yeah, if you're using that argument, let me just tell you something. That is the most dumbest thing you can possibly do.
The only thing that we can really say for Boros is that he would upscale from his minions who are able to throw rocks at sub-light speeds, and him kicking Saitama to the moon was calced at relativistic speeds. So it wouldn't be ridiculous to say that Boros at his peak is at least approaching or even reaching the speed of light.
The lowest of the lowest and you can possibly give Boros is faster than light.
But in all honesty, this is the best scaling I can give to Boros. And for those who are going to be crying in the comments saying that he's basically the second strongest guy other than Garo, please show me a speed feat for Armored Boros real quick.
How the fuck is that even relevant? The fuck does Armored Boros have to do with fucking meteoric burst form?
Anyways, Boros is also known for his ridiculous regeneration, which allows him to come back from attacks that can quite literally turn him into bits and pieces. However, this only lasts for a minute, and without his full powered state, base Boros is like regenerating basic limbs at best, which is
I don't know in what world are you living in, but damn, these assumptions are fucking wild.
really nothing too crazy. Aside from his regeneration, he's mainly known for his flight and ability to shoot energy. He's a little bit of a power merchant, but even despite this, he's still one of the strongest beings to step foot in the One Punch Man universe. Now, let's see where he stacks up in comparison to the Invincible verse.
I mean, he did literally said in the start of the video that he's going to slander Boros. So, yeah. No hate to this guy, but seriously, his scaling is fucking stupid. Please stick to Invincible, Dragon Ball, and One Piece, and etc. Don't come to verses that you don't know shit about. I just recently found out that he was actually using the one shot stronger everyday argument. Yeah, I already addressed that. If you're still watching my video up to this point, thank you. Thank you, man, for watching it. It really fucking helps me. Thank you for supporting me and everything. If you haven't subscribed yet, go and click that subscribe button and be sure to like and leave a comment. Thank you for fucking watching my video and supporting me.